But here we are in the new part of this year where the spring equinox, and so we need to turn over a new leaf. Most people are pagan. 99% of the people who live on this rock are pagans, and they celebrate the new year at the dead in the middle of the winter. So 99+% of this rock is celebrating. So it's been a minute, but back to what it is that I do, back to what it is that he made me to do. So to expose the system and shine a light, I'm not doing this channel justice. It is what it is. It's in Father's hands. All things were created after the Father, and we we don't do any celebrations, but hey, we give glory to the new springing up of the new life and the new year, and not in the middle of the winter. Right. Thank you, Lion, for, the bis, the knowledge to know that we don't give our, maybe the reasons why you never come with these, first of the new year's resolutions as you do it down in the middle of the winter. You're giving your energy to this birth of this sun god, Apollyon 9/11, the one that's locked up in Revelation 9/11, the king. Remember the king? They have two kings, right? There's two kings, two crowns. That one's not shining very good. Anyways, that one's still in the healing process. So thank you, Father, for the blessing of the bis. And I know that people have been hungry for the word, but might as well, the new years and the new life starts in the spring. It springs up at the equinox, equal day, equal night. Well, thank you for coming in, Donna. I haven't done a whiteboard in a minute, so I thought I would go ahead, and there's nothing else I could do for Elijah. It is what it is. I'll do with it what it is. So again, I know there's people who are super hungry for the word, and I thought I would share that and give that to you guys. And again, it's just something we need to remind ourselves of, this perversion that's been going on since, time and millennia, of this sun god birthed in the middle of the winter, that they're now doing the same thing they did that was outlawed, by the two pontiffs, because this is paganism. Modern day Satanism is the hijacking of this Yule wheel worship of this, Saturnalia, this Yule wheel of the feast of Saturn, where again they thought the sun was dying, and at the equinox, equal day, equal night, thought that the constellations were going into the abyss, the dark months. As they looked out at the Mediterranean Sea, they could, see the constellations going in, and this is this Yule wheel, where again they thought there was this goddess of heaven spinning this Big Dipper around the North Star. So I don't have the whole image up yet, but I did put it, and I don't know if I'll get a flag for that by putting up the image of the swastika, because that's all that is this is the image of people don't understand why they're putting so much emphasis on these three pyramids and why they mean so much. They're talking about this Orion's belt, which is part of this equinox. That's why they're doing this. They're giving their homage to this sun god, where Father used to require war, blood, sacrifice, fee, fine, all these things, the sacrifice on the altar of man. Remember he told Abraham to take Isaac up there and kill his own son. So don't want to tell me that Father didn't require death and war. Remember the Passover, he said, go and pay the 5 shekels. You might as well teach a little Passover, because we here they're going to celebrate rabbits. Tammuz was the son of Satan, and he loves rabbits, and he had sex with his mom. So I don't want to hear none of that. Take your Muhammad and all the the Catholicism and your Roman sex worship somewhere else with your transgender God with 3 genders. That's your there's your 3 triangles, there's your trans, there's your Orion's belt. It's all part of this tradition that Father outlawed this celebration of this Yule wheel. This is the Big Dipper. So remember, Father did require 5 shekels. Remember, there was a fine. No, it was a fee. It wasn't a fine. But it was 5 shekels. Remember, 5 shekels had to be paid to the king, and you had to have a sacrifice of blood, right? A blood sacrifice of blood, and you had to have your doorway, your headdress, your address, the doorway. Anybody got a post office box or got an address? Yep, they got you marked, don't they? Well, that's where you were supposed to be marked. At the head of your doorway was supposed to be marked with blood, covered in blood, with the head of your doorway, your post, in the blood of the lamb. And then if you paid the 5 shekels you had to sacrifice. Remember, you had to have a death and sacrifice, sprinkle that over the doorway, and then he would pass over and he would not kill. See, people think this wasn't God's all lollipops, he wouldn't kill your firstborn. And remember, that wasn't just your little baby. If your firstborn was 50 years old, he was dead in the morning. Your first sheep, your first goat, your first pig, hog, all your animals, you didn't do what Father required. This was what is known as Passover. There's written one time the word Easter or Passover, Ishtar. Easter is the star goddess. That's over here in the spring. The star goddess, Semiramis, the one who had sex with her son, who loved rabbits, Tammuz, the son of Satan, or Jesus Christ. Baby manger, birthed in the middle of the winter, Father said, I am the east and the west. Remember, he's outside the ice wall. We'll just put it that way, right? In fact, it's cold as hell if you're going to do north and south. So anyways, north and south. Remember, remember that whole yin yang symbol? Your dark months, there's not the same amount of day and the same amount of light in each month. That's that yin yang symbol, remember? That's what that is. That's this same Yule wheel worship, where these are your dark months. So what do you mean it's 2025? You're an idiot. Who told you it's 2025? It's not 2025. Grow up. Stop being a pagan. Stop going by these traditions of men. You got the dark months and the light months, remember? They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the North Star, or which is known as our pole star, right? You know anything about polarity, magnetic polarity? People see this image, they freak out. Oh! This was around long before World War II, you idiots. Grow up. Stop being a child. He said be 7. To be 7 is be matured. So let's go over this again. This is the emblem where, again, they thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the North Star. They thought the sun was dying at the equinox here in the fall. And remember, this is all here at, let's change up our color here, at 9:23, 12:23, 3:23, and 6:23. There's actually 8 pagan festivals that are celebrated within this Yule wheel or Samhain, All Hallows Eve. Oh, that's Halloween starting here. And then they came into a Roman orgy. See, the celebration of their sun god is Apollyon. The one, remember, the Apollyon sun god, does anybody do, let's do some simple math. 4 plus 5 equals 9. Now, we got to skip. Let's skip 46, 4 plus 6. We'll go 4 plus 7. 4 plus 7 equals 11. That's Donald Trump, President 9/11. The one who has his house decorated with this Roman sun god, Apollyon. Apollo, you know, the sun god. They thought the sun was dying, so they prayed to Saturn, Kronos, to try to slow the sun. They were silly pagans. Trump's not lame to this. He's not an idiot. He knows. He's hep to the fact, Jack, like 2 jokers in a deck of cards, like diamonds or spades. You ever play trumps? I think you've been trumped. Maybe you got spade. Maybe you've been canceled, negated. Maybe they took the jokers out of the deck. I don't know. You tell me. But I think you've been played like a card. But anyways, back to the you joker here that fall for this equinox god where they thought the sun was dying and they prayed to the Saturn because that was the slowest equinox. You know, I don't do the ball earth or flat earth. I do outside the ice wall. How about that? Yeah, not like sticking your lightsaber in your ice hole. That's not ring around the rosy. What do you think? What do you think a sun dog is? That's my dog. All right, never mind. A sun dog, you know, like a sun dog, like right here. That's a sun dog. Remember, you look up in the sky, you see a reflection of the ice wall. He said, "I am the horizo," not "I am the north and south." That's space farce. That's Donald Trump with his Reiki symbol on his Operation Warp Speed. It's all there too. Look at this. Ah, that's the Reiki symbol. Da, 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 da. You're loving it, huh? I hope you don't eat that. Don't eat your kids. Well, remember, they used to eat their kids. Moloch, the sun god, they used to throw their kids in the fire, eat their kids, all do, oh, hey, this is part of this same thing. Why do you think Trump loves this? Like McDonald's. The sun god, he decorates his house with a polygon. Remember this triple, you know, we're seeing stuff underneath the, you know, I know those are like 3 skill buildings with 2 airplanes. Huh? You're going to try to tell me that's what that, sure. You loving it yet? Yeah, like President 9/11. 4 plus 5 is 9. There's a king over them. In Revelation 9 and 11, it says they have a messenger over them. They have a king. Remember, a king? Hello, see this crown? That crown is the king. There was a king. They had a king of the Saturnalia. Yeah, they took a peasant. So does everybody understand what this yin-yang symbol is? So you stop playing with your yin-yang or ding-a-ling or whatever your bell ball worship, or keep your balls, your hands to yourself, all right? The man's nuts, grab them. I don't want to hear it. Seriously, deer nuts or beer nuts? Deer nuts come in a bag. Or wait, they come in a sack. Deer nuts come from under a buck, or beer nuts come from under a buck. That's what, I got that confused somewhere. Maybe they're all somewhere within that same, just putting my groceries in a bag, right? All right, anyways. How about in a sack? All right. Careful, he says, if you change a jot or a tittle, and now people are celebrating this same pagan Roman orgy sun god, Jesus Christ, birthed in the middle of the winter. The sun god, you celebrate that? Or are you one of those pagan Satanists, Mormons, Christians, isms, Catholicism, Mormonism, Calvinism? Or are you one of these people that have gone insanity, like Christianity, all these other ones? They're all of them. They're vain and they're worthless because they worship this Jesus Christ birthed in the middle of the winter, and he was not birthed in the middle of the winter. I know that. I'm a shepherd. I know that. I'm a dog. That's what Father made me. Trey dog. I didn't ask for that. I'm going to get myself in trouble, but somewhere, oh, you'll find this image all throughout. What the hell is that? Well, everybody's got to have an image, so that's Trey dog. Oh, you forgot the dog, didn't you? All right, you want the beak? It's all there. That's my dog. Just an image. Here, you want a little more clear? Normally you do that with spray paint. Oops. What are you doing? I'm not spray painting anything. I'm just kidding. Not here. We're just using non-permanent markers. They call me Trey dog growing up. And so that's just obviously how I grew up. And I didn't ask to be called a dog, but they made me a dog, and that's what they called me. They look on my high school video, Jacob, you rode motorcycles. I'm going to go back to Cali with Trey dog and party Cali style. You know, I didn't ask to be called a dog. That's what they called me. So I'm a shepherd. I'm not a sheep. I don't go with the flow. Not the kind that can be herded. That's not me. So just the way, maybe because it was T, it was Trey, and so it was Trey dog, and that's never asked for the Want the whole thing? There you go. I'll give it to you, all of it. Like we'll go back old school on you. Oh, put another brick in the wall, brothers, sisters. All right, let's put it back. We cemented that, didn't we? We made a fact. So anyways, it's like a signature. It's a mark. I didn't ask to be called that. I just want you to know that when I was very young, I was called Trey Dog, and so I'm not a sheep. I can't be herded. Can't make me do anything. I'm stubborn as a mule when it comes to that. I'm a shepherd, and I'm a dog, and I can be taught tricks, and I do. Obviously, he said, call no man teacher, but he said, share the light. So I can't hide this light. I want you to understand what it is that they're doing to you. 7 of you in the room. To be matured is the number of maturity to be 7. It's forgive us our debts, not forgive us our trespasses. Criminal and trespass are 2 different things. Criminal trespass, forgive us our debts as we forgive us our debtors. You know what 7 is? The number of maturity. There were 7 Jubilee cycles. You know anything about, see, this is kind of important. They change all these things, and now they've got you thinking it's 2025. You're going to tell me, you're going to try to tell me that 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes is 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes? You must be on some of that Common Core math where they tell me 2 + 2 = 5. How's that? That don't add up. And 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes don't add up either. Right. They had to drop 3 steel buildings to erect 1 phallic tower, 1 Nimrod. Va, va, va. At the top of the tower. Remember? Tower 1? No. Yes. Building 1. Tower 1, Tower 2. Towers are building. Trade centers. World Trade Center 1, 2. Can you count? Do simple math. How about 7? We said 7. There was 7. Now there's 12 of you. Like months in a calendar? No, there's not. Now there's 10, like the Harper's Harp. I can do it all by the number. Father does it all by the number. How many courts will he elect here? How do you know that? I don't know. Go do some research. You tell me. If you can correct me with the word, I'll listen. Otherwise, don't sit there until you're bell bull. So let's go back to this Yule wheel worship. There's not the same amount of day in the same amount of night in each day, or the same amount of dark or the same amount of light, correct? At the equinox, we have less dark, just like in the spring, we have less light. And that's all this is. This is a perversion of the calendar to celebrate their sun god, Jesus Christ, or Apollyon, birthed in the middle of the winter on the sun. And that's what this is. So if you took the handle of the Big Dipper right here, and you took this handle, and you made the handle come off of here, just like this, this is all this is this same wheel worship of the Saturn. When they say throw the Yule log on the fire, they're talking about Jesus Christ. He was the lamb, so you know. And I'm not talking about Jesus Christ birthed in the middle of the winter. That's a mockery of the Messiah, who was not birthed in the middle of the winter. So let's go over this real quick again. So I don't play. Have no fear to expose that Donald Trump decorates his house with this Revelation King, Sun God, this Yule wheel worship, where they took a peasant right on their calendar from December, Dece. Let's just work back from that for just 1 second. Dece, if I'm not mistaken, is 10, like a decimi or decimal or decagon, or that's all 10, correct?
It was 12, remember?
So let's go back to 9. Like I was birthed in the 9th month, November. Correct? Everybody on the same page? November's the 9th month, right? Not 11, 9, 11. Oh, hold on. Careful, we're working ourselves backwards. I'm a reconstructionist. I'm trying to help you out here. So notice, not 9, 9.
Ocho.
No. Hold on, you're getting hit like an octopus. He's trying to grab me. So Kevin's helping out here. So 9 is Nueve, right, for November, right? So November is Nueve or November, right? Octagon or octopus, or it's a stop sign, like it's got 8 sides, right? I don't have very good light. So now that's the 8th month, right? Now, how about scepter? Like seven like scepter. That would be, what month comes before? October, November. What month comes before? What is 7? Scepter. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. 7, there were 7 horns, scepters, shofars, rams, horns shall sound.
So 7-Eleven, so 9-11.
7-Eleven instead of 9-11. Always open 24 hours. They never close their doors. They're always open. Imagine that. So, okay. So, obviously, we know that September, scepter, right? Scepters. Why are these all perverted? Why are these months perverted? Remember, this is all done at the time of Rome. Remember Julius Caesar? Julius. You've got Julius, like you got July, and you got Augustus, right? Augustus. This is August. These are all Roman sun gods. Kronos, Saturn, remember Melchizedek in scripture represents Jupiter. This great gas giant right here. Melchizedek, there we go, exactly. A representation of the Messiah. Like the Lion of Judah. Thank you, exactly. So why is this calendar perverted? They did this, brothers and sisters, to provide an alignment. So it's all about birth. This is all about a birth date. And this is all about the birth date of their sun god, Jesus Christ, or Apollo. Apollo, the one that Trump has his house decorated with. The sun god. He's even got like moon missions and all that stuff decorated, you know, his get up. He's got murals and statues, and he gets a free pass. He gets a free pass, right? He gets a free pass because on December, remember, we'll do this in green because this was their celebration of Moloch. Moloch was the one who remember, Moloch was the brother of Esau. Esau's brother, who Esau killed Nimrod or Satan and stole his inheritance. If not mistaken, this is all about an inheritance. So those who have an ear to hear, a spiritual ear or a spiritual bride, that will ring out to them. So don't worry, I'm just a shepherd. I'm not some sheep that will be led, and I'm not some wolf that's going to eat you. That's up to you to, it's pardon me, to decide. But I will not allow the sheep in here to be taken by a wolf in sheep's clothing. So I'll unveil that Donald Trump is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's the two-faced Joker January God. That's why they play the egg sex ritual with you in January. Whoa. You did the chicken dance, didn't you? Yeah, how much were eggs? This channel warned you well ahead of time. Prognosko, the Greek word to have foreknowledge of, to get eggs glassed. Not like a house, or ceiling. Hailstones? You got a hail plan? See, I'm not talking about the bis, so you might want to pay attention, Honga Tonga. This channel gives out a lot of gems. It truly does, and give all glory to the Father and the Most High, not this king, right? 9/11. But brothers, sisters, this is the same worship of this birth of this sun god where they've realigned the calendar at the equinox with the equal day and the equal night to celebrate the sun god Satan, which is Christmas or Jesus Christ. This celebration of this Roman sun god was outlawed at the birth of this nation because they fled the celebration, which is Catholicism. Catholics are Satanists, which are Roman sun gods, same extension of the same regime. There we go. There's no such thing as, this is a different symbol. This whole thing about Nazis and all that's not. This is this. This is this triple alignment of their triple. Why do you think they use this logo on everything? The triple triangle, because their God is transgender of 3 genders, both beast, man, and woman. And so when they had their festival from December 17th to the 24th, they had sex with beast, man, and woman. It was man on beast, man on woman, woman on beast, man on woman. And this is called Christmas. Christ X. That's why Mr. Chump loves this X mask. Go ahead. What were you saying, Kip?
The same as that, pretty much, right?
Yeah, there we go. Triple sun god, triple X, 3X, 666, va va va. Unleash the beast. Get your monster energy on. Woo! Red Bull, it'll give you wings. Woo! Yeah. So isn't X in Greek? There we go. Va, va, va. Va. This is the symbol right here. Va. 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 That's your Monster Energy logo. 666. Or XXX. Or Va, Va, Va. WWW. I'm a Werner. Swiss. Swiss Jew. Oh, you're as evil as it gets. You're a timekeeper and the money keeper of the banks, and you're a fake Jew. Oh, sorry. Never mind. There's no such thing as Jews, brothers and sisters. There is not. It's a spiritual Jew. It's a spiritual Israel. It's a spiritual bride. It's a spiritual covenant. It's about an inheritance of only those he chose from the foundation of the world. Very few. Many are called, but few are chosen to have an eye to see. That is the word apocalypse, to lift off the scales from thine eyes, to have a revelation, to see the reality of the truth, to pull off the lies and to show you where this hidden truth has always been there, covered by lies. 2,600 years plus of deception lifted by the age of revelation. This is not uncommon knowledge, but not many are called, but few are chosen to take the time to rediscover what is old, recycled knowledge. I'm recycled. Remember, I just keep coming back again and again. I'm like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, better not say that. I'll be back. All right. John Connor, Jesus Christ. That's what he said. I'll be back. Remember that neatly folded mask? You'd have to be a Jew to know that. As a veteran, to sit there with all these people that they're wearing their face diaper burqas, neatly folded masks. That was the return, the resurrection of the master. When the Jewish servant was in the shadows waiting for the master and he was there eating, he didn't have his plate there. He would, the master would take the napkin and if he was going to go maybe have a thing with his lady over there, his wench, he would leave that napkin neatly folded. And if he was done, he'd wad it up and throw it on top. So it was left folded accordion style, because that's the resurrection, and that says that the master would return, and he's my master. Hallelujah. Stick that in your celestial understanding. Well, that was back in history, back in time, during the COVID, at the age of the new, where everybody wore face burqas. They veiled my love. Why do you think it was Mary who found that neatly folded veil, accordion style? That was Christ left that. Oh, he didn't just leave it for any, oh no, he didn't just wad it up. It was neatly accordion folded. You'd have to know that. You'd have to understand the Jewish tradition. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. It was it's just so hard for me, brothers and sisters, as a veteran to sit there and watch people, because as a veteran, I'm like, now, wait a minute, I wore a mask, so you wouldn't have to wear a mask. I thought we kill women and children in other countries for freedom. Only over in the desert, only women burqa and veil their face. What are dudes? Holy crap, it's Sharia law in America. I did. It was hard to go through that crap and then sit there and watch people with all their neatly folded masks going, I didn't share it until nearly at the very end of yes, I didn't. I kept it in. So I don't share everything with this ministry. I love you, brothers and sisters, but I kept that in. Talk about giving a veteran like myself some PTSD. I thought veterans wear masks like myself. Don a mask, you're supposed to cover your eyes. You can't have a beard. You can't have a beard. You're supposed to put a seal across your wet eyes. People sitting there wearing a face diaper. I don't care if you sag your mask like in prison, whatever. Cool that you didn't want to get along there, but that, you got to cover your eyes, idiot. The world's deadliest, scamdemic. Well, that's like throwing grapes through a chain link fence. Trust the science. Father said, don't trust mammon. Can't serve two masters. So back to the lesson, but it's ridiculous. And who was in charge of that? Mr. Warp Speed, Mr. Operation Chump, Mr. Blind 11. They have a king over them in the abyss. It's the seventh king that will be revealed as the eighth king, brothers and sisters. I hope you have a celestial eye, spiritual eye, and have seen the signs that have been given in this testimony of this walking testament that's left this revelation time, this changing of this age to give you this parable, the fig tree of the time. How many years did the Christ knew that was not producing fruit, and how many years has it been since that celestial marker? I told you, welcome to apocalypse, brothers and sisters. The firmament declared that, not me. Remember, Saturn conjuncted Jupiter, just like at the time of that triple conjunction back in 1939 to form a fake Jewish nation. No, that used to be the location of that nation, like Gaza, Palestine. That's freaking where the giants were at, you idiot. champions, okay? The Philistines, Palestine, grow up. Oh, mister, we're going to take over Greenland. This is called imperialism, and people love them. Yes, Mr. Blind 11. Yeah, they have a king over them. His house is decorated with Satan, the sun god, Mithra at the time of Christ. So let's get back into who that is. That's this sun god where he is three genders. Ba, 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 three genders. Unleash the beast system. I told you this Alice symbol, everything I've done, this whole work of this ministry. Let's put that up there and show you that. You guys understand, we're here at Passover. You don't do what Father tells you. Hallelujah. I know it's been a minute since we did the whiteboard, but you guys were insisting, and, you know, it's a new year. So turn over a new life. That's not what I'm saying. You might want to redo this calendar. Like I said, I don't celebrate nothing, but thanks for coming in. All glory to Father for the bis time, if you will. Time isn't a hand pointing to a number on a clock. That's not what time is. Oh, Back to the Future. Let's got to go back into, okay. All right, back in time. That's not what time is. Time. Now, you've been sold on an idea of illusion of bullshit, and that's not what time is. Bell, ball, bowl in the middle of the winter, that's not time. January, New Year's, April Fools. So anyway, that's all right. Tammuz, the son of Satan. Remember, we'll go back over the firstborn. If your firstborn didn't do what Father said, if you didn't pay that 5 shekels to the king, have your postmark of the blood of the doorway of your headdress, your address, your doorway, with that sacrifice, 5 shekels. Remember, God required you had to do all these things. The wages of sin was death. One, you didn't follow these commandments, statutes. There were 613 of them. Passover was just one of them. Remember, you had to return to Israel 3 times a year. Whoa, imagine that. You know, get up off your ass, donkey, mule, and be stubborn, or are you going to do it? 3 years, huh? No, 3 times a year. 3 days of darkness, 3 days of darkness in the belly of the whale, like Jonah in the resurrection out of the belly of the whale, 40 days, warning of the coming destruction of Nineveh in 40 days. It rained for 40 days. Are you a wise virgin? What end of the door are you going to be on? There's a wedding coming very soon. I don't know the day or the hour, but it's all about a wedding. Remember, I told you it's all being done by the number. Logos. Yep. Outstanding. So let's go back and let's take a look again on what it is that what they're celebrating over and over. You guys don't see that there's this triple ritual is a celebration of this transgender God. That's why, again, they declared 2 witnesses when they did their celebration of their stupid bowl with Kendrick Lamar. And why do you think he wore bell-bottom jeans? Remember, they were bell-bottoms. He wore bell-bottom jeans. Did he not? Kendrick Lamar at the Stupid Bowl show. Again, I don't mean to go off on this, but you don't understand. This is done in everything. They put this revelation, this time that we're in right now, because it's been spoken of for thousands of years. That's like, what's up with you earlier, idiot, trying to tell me didn't have any understanding of what petroglyphs were. Trying to tell me he's got decades of studies and he couldn't tell me what the main, why it is that they put what the imagery of what it is. And he warned of imagery and idolism. Well, sure. Where'd that go? Was that cool? Oh, hold on 1 second. We're not going to town. Kevin bought me a beer. They don't have a beer. Es cerveza. Did you try one of those?
No, I've had them before. I'll have them later.
Okay.
This one is good. That's good.
I tried those. I didn't really like. They're okay, but
yeah, it was. I don't want to mix them right now anyway. So yeah, just have that one. One's enough. I had 5 yesterday. So.
Oh boy. Probably just smaller ones. Hope not taller ones. Okay.
Not the tall ones.
Remember, this channel has been trying to show you again over and over this camp is right here. It's a millimeter camp. It's a work camp. The whole camp will be Camp America, Camp China, Chimerica, see the C? Chimerica. And the super cycle, Chi.
Yeah, they had me digging.
See? Can you see? Can you see? See? They even put that in there too, huh? Camp America, Camp America, ha ha ha. Camp America. I ain't doing it. I'm not in that camp. I'm in my own bubble over here. So what's that? All right, so let's go back to this real quick. Did anybody get why they used Kendrick Lamar? I'm the only person I see that's exposing why Kendrick Lamar wore bell-bottom jeans. Bell-bottom jeans. Boots with the fur. No, he didn't have the boots with the fur. My bad. That was apple-bottom jeans. Get it, apple? The apple in my eye. Yeah, take that in your, put that in your apple pipe and smoke that. All right, you guys are. Come on, somebody be a little more somebody communicate with me here. Kendrick Lamar, bell-bottom jeans, Bell Baphomet worship with the all their symbolism. Remember, they had all their symbolism worship. That one's no good. Let's get rid of that one. Let's take this one out of the equation. Negate, Aleph. But remember, they had all their symbolism. What was, where's black? We use black as, here we go. They had their triangle and their square and their X and their controller and their joystick and their game. It's a game. And they like to play this on the public with imagery throughout television, halftime stupid bowl satanic shows.
Those are so fun, though.
Bell is the transgender god. Bell bottom jeans. That's what he wore, Kendrick Lamar. This is a play on all these people's PlayStation. It's in the game. EA Sports. It's in the game. I'm not much of a gamer, but I understand how they put this stuff in games too, brothers, sisters. This is not only
the quarterback for the Eagles.
Who's that?
Kendrick Lamar.
No, the Kendrick Lamar is the singer who did that. You know, with A minor. We've listened to a couple of the songs. He's done a couple of those songs. Yeah, that's Kendrick something else.
That quarterback seemed pretty cool. I can't remember his name.
Oh, you're right. Hey. Hey, which way you going, man? I'm going that way. It's the ice wall. Okay. They ain't hiding it no more, brothers, sisters. I'm telling you, this is probably the first channel that is going to reveal to you that ring that you see, that sun dog, that ring that you see up in, I've been watching this freaking celestial firmament above our head day and night like a madman. And I'm telling you, this is a phenomenon because of this changing of our atmosphere that is happening, that this is something that's very new. I'm not going to sit there and be fooled by people's deception. That is a reflection of the ice wall off of the magnetosphere, stenosphere, troposphere, ionosphere, whatever you want to call that layer of our upper atmosphere would be the stratosphere, would be the top. So I'm going to call up the top of the stratosphere. Start your camping tonight. Heck yeah. Good stuff. Camping. All right. Good stuff, man. Go back to camping. That's good. Stay warm. You got a bag to sleep with. Stay warm. Keep yourself. Don't.
Jump for that freezing rain.
Sign is on Captain America with a star. There we go. There we go, Captain America. There we go. Thank you for the reveal. Jeff's pulling out the stops there. You don't disappoint. Thanks for coming in again, Jeff. So again, this stuff is put in. Like I said, people don't even see that every halftime, NFL is a tax-exempt corporation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, make sure you drink lots of water too. Stay hydrated. Always, no matter what. Do you have a drinking filter? Do you have a water filter? You have a water filter? You should have a water filter if you're camping. You got a little Berkey. What was that one that we were looking at? That's a travel, was it? Berkey Pro, what's that little one?
Travel kit.
Berkey Go, but raise them, I don't know. A live straw. You got a Sawyer Mini filter. There we go. Thank you. Good. Get that Sawyer Mini, guys. That's enough water. Hey, I've been getting spammed with water filters because I looked at that glass one. Whatever. I like the idea. I've had my Berkey for 10 years plus. Berkey's the way to go. I like that Borax company. You know, they've done some changes with that, but you can't get that large. If you're looking at buying a water filter and you got a Berkey, no, Britta, no. It's okay because it's got charcoal, but that's not. No, you need something with a better filter than that. Although it got charcoal filtration, charcoal does a great job of capturing bacteria. You can make your own water filter. Don't act like water filters aren't something that you can't make with three simple, four or five things, a water bottle, some sand, some gravel, charcoal. That's what takes and holds bacteria. It grabs the bacteria up. It's the charcoal in that filter, water filtration. I'm a survivalist. I'm a veteran. It's not complex, but the idea, you can't build a filter. That Sawyer Mini is like 100,000 gallons. That's 10 years worth of water filtration.
This desert dirt is natural.
That's more. That's crazy. So, good stuff for you though, to just camp and get away and just have a good, enjoy some of what the best. That's where the ether still exists. Okay. There's an ether from the old world that's still here, brothers and sisters, and it doesn't exist in these cities. And I know they use these ley lines, and they're going to tell you that where this ether is at is beside a stream where there is no 5G, where there's not a tower for 100 miles, if you will. That's where you're going to find the ether, the true resonance of where we're at right now. There's still a place, but it's not in civilization. It's not in the city. And even in some of the country places, you got to get further and further away. You need to put yourself in a place so that you can hear Father inside your head. I've been seeing this too. I don't understand this. They say, have you guys seen this? And I know, because like I said, with a water filter, we get spammed by this placebo effect. It's hive minding everything we're putting into the system. It has been watching us like Father from the inside out. It has learned how to control our own emotions by feeding us algorithms of what we know, what it's going to trigger us. Here, the hell yes, it does. It can measure heart rate. Although you can't turn the damn thing off. Why do you think you can't take the flipping battery out of it anymore? I don't want to hear it. These things are tracking devices. They don't need to chip nobody. They got nanotechnology anyways. I want to hear about your stupid rice chip that's so 19 freaking 80s or 50s.
Shut them off when you quit playing the bill.
Yeah, so there's a lot of other ways they can get in and interlace you with spraying us and fluoridating us and chloridating us and chemically castrating us, with genetically modifying our gut bacteria and just totally, I don't even see how there isn't just people falling out every day. What did he die? I don't know. They do, of all these diseases. So I hope you're putting, it's not what goes in a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of him. So try to have one beer, not 5, but that's okay. 5 beers is okay if you only do it a couple times a year. A few times, 4 or 5 times a year. You're not an alcoholic. It's okay. God doesn't want you to sit there and just be a non the whole time. He does not. That's not God. Just so you know, that's not Father. So, anyways, dancing with the devil, whereas I could have been on the way any day. Cool. Well, good for having instincts like a freaking bird, Shadow, like a crow, right? They're smarter than all get out. Birds are our friends, guys. Messenger. Remember, they used birds during. Remember, they used to use birds during war. They put them inside those machines, and they would feed them, and those birds would, keep that target centered. That's how they would do that in naval, technology. They would use that bird and keep feeding it when it would stay on over the target. Remember, Tesla was messing with pigeons, and they used pigeons inside for sight picture to keep you over the target. It would constantly put itself over the target. recorrect it. When the target wore, you know anything about that? Huh, there, Tesla? They've been using this technology for you guys. Bird cannot achieve lift without resistance, brothers and sisters. No, it cannot. It's not possible. You know anything about being over the target? How you know you're over the target? They didn't have all that radar technology back then. Your enemy started throwing ordinances at you. All right, that's when you started dropping bombs, brothers, sisters, truth bombs on them, Aletheia. So if you've been getting taken flack here recently, keep dropping those truth bombs on them. You ain't taking flack. You ain't over the target. That's a military term. I ain't military Navy. I'm an Army mud puppy, military police, Army pig, war pig. But either way, it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to tell you, though, is that you need to have resistance or you're on some other Jesus. If your life is not full of resistance, you are on this sex cracker, born in the middle of the manger, other Jesus, other gospel that we were warned about. I don't know how many times that Christ, he said they will come speaking of another gospel and another Jesus. So how much more do you need to hear? So let's go back to this a little bit of this teaching because I want to teach you this real quick. And then we'll go on here with some more. We'll just kind of have a free talk here too. See what you guys what your understanding of what it is. Why are people celebrating this today? Why is it okay that Donald Trump, nobody understands? Why am I the only YouTube channel that I know exposing that Donald Trump is 9/11? His house is decorated with Mithra, the sun god, this same worship, and everything they're doing is about this pit ritual with Satan and the va and the unleashing of the beast, and all this is all part of the same system. You guys keep calling me crazy, but I guarantee you Noah was crazy. He was batshit crazy until like bat soup or like out of a laboratory or out of some market in Wuhan, China. No, Noah was conspiracy theorist for 126 years. Remember in the book of Luke, and then it rained. So you tell me who's crazy. I'll be crazy, and then it's gonna rain fire. Remember that? The promise of the rainbow. I've seen enough of this hokey pokey. Turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. I'm going to bring the fire. Yes, sitting at a quiet beach. There you go. That's a really good thing to do. Thank you, mental health, for that, because these things are how we can tolerate the hard times. That's that day of rest. That's that time of rest. And you know what? I'm telling you, some of these times, Father didn't create no world in 6 days. You're an idiot. If you think that this place was created in 6 days, you have no understanding of creation. You probably believe some big bang, man evolved from apes. And you got to tell me there's some kind of alien, or like, what's the matter with you telling me there's Bigfoot? I don't want to hear your nonsense. If it isn't scripturally or biblically aligned, please don't add it to text, because this is what man completely does over and over again, is he sits there and he just sensationalizes over and over and makes things larger than life. And this is exactly why God divorced his bride, Israel, because they thought that the sun was dying in the equinox, at the solstice, equal day, equal night. Remember, in 323, the spring equinox, they had a Roman festival. They had 8 Roman festivals on this Samhain festival of all these pagan holidays, where, again, Father did used to require, again, as I told you, sacrifice, blood, war, fees. God required sacrifice again on the altar, but that's not Satanism. Satanism is the eating of man. Of flesh, masse. You know what masse means? M-A-S-S-E? M-A-S-S-E. M-A, not M-O-E-S, M-O-U-S-E, M-I-C-K-E-Y. Look at Mickey Mouse Club in here. Somebody in there was saying that in the back of the room. I could hear him. M-I-C-K-E-Y, M-O-U-S-E. Stop it there, Disney. All right, listen. Masse is the eating of human flesh. Human flesh. Not just any flesh, but human flesh. So Christ Mass or X-Mass is the eating of the flesh of humans. Yes, the sacrifice. They had a Yule Wheel festival where they would appoint a pagan. Well, basically, yeah, there were pagans. And this pagan got to be the king of the Yule Wheel festival, which was called Christ Mass, or which now is celebrated as modern day Christmas. And this man right here, boy, let me put a shit-eating grin. I apologize for the outburst, but I'm going to put a shit-eating grin on his face because, boy, this guy, he ate shit. He got this thick guy. He got balls across the nose. He did. I don't mean to go there, but it was a Roman orgy, and he got cocked to the face, kind of like this modern-day prison system we got going here. But anyways, balls to the nose. It was sheet balls. It was all kinds of, it was semen samples. Speaking of the Navy, right? Well, no, hey, king, commander, this was the king, this king of the Saturnalia. This is the king of the Yule, or the feast. Remember remember there was feast days? Remember the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Tabernacles? Feast days. This was called the Feast of the Yule. Remember? And this started on December 17th. And then for one whole week, they would orgy marinate a man. And when they'd masse him at the end, they would eat him, but not before they marinate him in sex and the finest veals and the finest cheeses and wines and meads. And I'm sure he was on some shrooms, some psilocybins. I'm sure they had heroin back then. They probably all had him smoking heroin. This guy was like Mardi Gras. This is France. Remember Mardi Gras? You know what Mardi Gras is, right? Like, wait, hold on. Hurricane Katrina? Now this is all starting to make sense. All right, moving on. Mardi Gras, this 7-day festival, this was France. France, or the French, France, they took this 7-day orgy and they rebranded, which is Christmas, which is Easter, which is New Year's, which is all the same festival. Because, see, remember, they thought the sun was dying and going away. So God used to require sacrifice on the altar for better crops. So this is paganism. Pagans aren't Satanists, just so you know. They don't eat flesh. They're pagans. They do kill men because that's what God used to require. The heavens was the ruling class, and he said, if you love me, your enemy will come against you one way, and I'll make them flee 7 ways. You walk and follow in my commandments. That's the word love. 2 John and 6, you read the book of any of the book? To walk and follow, I'm a veteran. As you were, carry on. But I'm telling you, to walk and follow, that's the love. Shem, authority. Who's your commander? Who do you love? Money's not the root of all evil, is it? Let's ask the room. Is money the root of all evil? Let's see if we can stimulate the chat a little bit. Maybe we'll break the algorithm just for this chat since we broke the whiteboard out again. We'll go back to teaching, so we can reach more numbers. Many are called, but few are chosen. So don't shoot the angelos. Don't shoot the angel. I'm just an angel. I'm not anything else. I'm just an angel. So don't shoot the angel. That is the word messenger. So don't shoot the messenger. Angelos and messenger. Right? They have a king over them. Revelation 9:11. They have an angelos, a king. All right, back to the teaching. It's up to you to discern these things, brother, sister. So they had this king. Revelation 9:11. Revelation 3:11. I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. That's what he said. Well, let's put the light on that so you can see the crown. See the crown? He said, let no one take your crown. You see what I'm saying? There we go. All right. Yeah, no religion. I'll do religion. Remember, he wrote the letter to the 7 churches. Father, remember, he sent Christ Shiloh. He birthed him of the water through the Vescal Pisces. Well, guess what? He wrote the letter to the 7 churches in the book of I Am Revelation. Yes, he did. I Am Apocalypse. And in that first book of Revelation, he wrote that even the Church of Philadelphia, like the modern day church, an apostate church, huh? Yep, all had issues like Time Magazine, Man of the Year 2 years in a row, Mr. Seventh King, to be 7th King. They had a Yule festival where they thought there was the sun was dying, and they prayed to Saturn because that was the chronos, the time marker that tried to slow the sun. At the equinox, remember this festival, because they thought the sun was dying on December 17th to the 24th, they would marinate, Christ massed a man where they would orgy marinate him with both man, beast, and woman to the birth of their sun god, which is Apollo. Remember, Operation Warp Speed, Mithra the sun god, on December 25th, which would be the birth of Satan. Or at the time of Christ, that would be Mithra. He has many names, does he not? The word devil was never written in Scripture. What is that? That's not a biblical term, devil. Where'd you get that from? You read some bastardized version of the word. I rebuke you. Stop teaching people. He said, don't add a period, a jot. I just did, right? He didn't say period. He said jot. Don't add a tittle. Don't add to my book. Don't take away. Or I'll blot your name out of that book at the wedding feast of the lambs, where there's 3 books, 3, not 2, but 3. Careful, transgender. Father, Son, and Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, are 3 separate gods. Godheads, one God entity, but not all in one God. That's transgenderism. It's kind of ironic that President 9/11, 4 plus 5 is 9, 4 plus 7 is 11. All right, if you want to stay in the chat, you're going to have to put it in there. So I want you to participate. The thing said, shh, it's classroom, shut, shh. So now you're going to have to participate if you want to stay in here. 4 plus 5 is 9, 4 plus 7 is 11. If you skip Joe Biden, 46, do you see why President 9/11 Donald Trump is 9/11? Any questions on why Donald Trump isn't 9/11? His house is decorated with Mithra, the sun god. He lives in a 58-story tower, and so was that Manhattan Tower in Babylon. I mean, that Babylonian tower in Babylon. Trump's tower is 58 stories. He lives in the 66 penthouse floor. His decor, his motif, his get-up, mine's, I don't know, old. 1800, look like an old cabin or something, you know. His is Satan, the sun god, Mithra at the time of Christ. Why doesn't anybody give a shit about that? Why am I the only one showing you that he is 4 plus 5 if you skip Joe Biden? Do you see why they did not? 81 million people voted for Donald John Trump. And you're going to tell me Joe Biden didn't even come out of his basement to campaign, and he took the presidency, the most popular president ever in the history, I believe, still to this day? I mean, get the hell out of here. These guys are 2 peds, files in a drawer, or a file is what they are. EpiPen Island boys. That's all they are. They like this worship of this, eat your kids, do things to your kids, throw your kids in the fire. They're all under this. Remember 1.0? Oh, I'm going to have this special investigation, Mr. Gate, you know, Broadway, Wide Gate. We're going to have this investigation underground. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. You see where I'm coming up with this. Why is nobody talking about why he was not the 46th president? If he was the 46th president, he couldn't be president 9/11. He decorates his house with the Roman sun god that is birthed in the middle of the winter. So I want you to understand that what Father doesn't want us to do is to celebrate birth more than anything. If you want to do the most vain thing you can do, is celebrate yourself to begin with. That is the Greek word porneia. And I'm not talking about jerking off and happy endings. I'm talking about like idolatria or idolatry. And this is exactly why God divorced his bride, idolatry, and they thought there were gods in the sky. Talk about that for jerking off, huh? That's not going to end up like you think. You ain't going to have the happy end and you think you are under the other of this death of this flesh. No, you won't. You're worshiping a Christ mass, which is Jesus Christ, who's birthed in the middle of the winter. This is Moloch, the sun god. Remember Esau's brother, Nimrod? I'm not calling you Nimrod, but you're acting like a Nimrod. Stuck up. Got your blood pumping or what? So there we go. Thanks for pointing out the pennies first. That's copper. That's showing the war. What did you do during the war? None of your business. Shared the gospel. Shared the gospel is what I did. I shared the gospel. He said, love is patient, it is kind, it is not boast, and most of all, it is charitable. So that's why I couldn't, I had to erase the board, guys. Come on, it's April Fool's, spring. life starts not bang, bang in the new winter. Life starts in the new year. Starts what? 2025? What? Mandela got out of prison, you idiots. It's bottles or wineskins. Or is it trespass? Or is it forgiveness? Or is it, wait, debtors? You know, you have allowed so much change to the word. And he said, don't change any of it. So that's why I know I've made mistakes. So I try to show you the mistakes I made, and you can learn from mine, as I've talked about that over and over on this channel. The best part of the lesson is through the comment section in most blogs or most studies that I've ever gone through. Of course, the person who did it is probably well studied, and that's awesome, but go through the comment section. You'll see things that the host or the writer didn't even cover, which are golden. I used to put up with 99% of people's bullshit to hear one truth because I considered it like a Crown Royal bag. I put that in there for later because I'm a Reconstructionist. I'm not going to wait another 10 years to have to hear another bunch of bullshit. So I listened to it back then. Now I won't listen to none of your bullshit. But I used to could. You ever heard that term? Kind of like there used to be physical Jews. There used to be a physical temple. There used to be a physical Israel. Now it's a spiritual bride. It's a spiritual Israel. Christ isn't in a physical house made by hands. He's inside of us. Father's not in the sky. God is not in the sky. That's exactly why Father divorced his bride, Israel. Why would everybody in America be okay with the president decorating his house with Satan? Because America's a bunch of idiots. 98% of Americans do not even know that this orgy sex worship of this Roman Yule wheel, that's your Christmas wreath. This swastika is a peace symbol or a sign that's been around long before World War II. Those were not Jews in World War II. They were not given no stupid technology from aliens. So if you're one of those doing that, we're going to clear you out too. Get out of here, Bigfoot, with your Sasquatch, you know. Remember, Eddie? Your wife's a Bigfoot, isn't she? You shaved a bitch down, didn't you, Eddie? Sorry, we had to go delirious. Remember that? Eddie! Oh, the bitch is falling down the steps again. Every white bitch comes to my Eddie. And your kids are Bigfoots too, aren't they? See, even Eddie Murphy, known homosexual. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Man, that man could sing. You come over to my house, the fish stopped moving. Remember that? The bus boys? All right, hey, got to go back in time. That was a whole different time. Remember the 80s? Apologies for the outburst, but boy, they threw their poles in the water. They both came up with fish in the mouth. They said, goony goo. I said, what the? Never mind. Come on, guys. Bigfoot, aliens, get out of here. It talks about something coming out of the ground, not out of the sky. You're talking about some hairy dude. Why are you not worried about Esau, who stole the inheritance? Remember his father? He took it and he changed that. His father built. You have. What's going on? Oh, vomit. The saint. Obama the saint, man. He's been in the channel for a country minute. Thanks for coming in. So this shouldn't be hard to see, guys. The most vain thing we can do is celebrate ourself, or the birth of ourself. Self. The birth of our own self is called porneia. Not Pornhub, idolatria, or porneia is the Greek word to service ourself. I know, huh? Pull your own chain. I'm just saying, it's right there. It's in the root word. Careful which root you're pulling on. Remember, being grafted into the vine. I wouldn't go after some sun god in the middle of the winter. Christ was born when the shepherds were in the field with the sheep. That's how much you've stuck your nose into, scriptural history. I rebuke your religion. So take your religious nonsense somewhere else. Bring your pastor, bishop, deacon, reverend. I don't care if they call themselves a biblical scholar. Get their ass in here. Let's see what they know. Let's see if they can sharpen some iron in here. Iron sharpens iron. I guarantee you they'll act like an ass. They don't know nothing. They'll be brutish in nature. They'll act like they know because they're in a box. I'll take it to school people who have biblical, celestial scholar. I don't know about that. Never met one in here who could rebuke this celestial teaching. So I appreciate you guys who have this celestial eye and spiritual eye and biblical eye and understand this scripture is coming to pass right before our very eyes. There's been celestial markers and biblical signs have been left for us that have been talked about thousands of years ago. I wouldn't miss them. So why is everybody okay with it being 2025? Why is everybody okay with all these changes in scripture when in that book of Revelation, he said, don't add anything to it. Don't add your own opinion. Don't add your own version. Don't add a comma or a period or a letter or a word. I'll blot your name out. You used to could. How about that? You want to speak a little American, a little redneck for you? A little country grammar? How about that? How about some buttermilk biscuits? We'll go back to some Sir Mix-a-Lot. We'll mix it up a little bit for you. Hey, Mr. DJ, put on that song. I want to dance with my DJ. Who's going to dance with the DJ? All right. But anyways, I bet you got a playlist of how many songs in your Rolodex? Nobody uses a Rolodex anymore, idiot. That's so 1980s. We're traveling through time. I'm a time traveler, if you hadn't seen that. I'm eternal, so I don't never end. I don't ever die. Time is an illusion. Death is an illusion. It's a doorway. If you've been told on the idea of death, you've been told by some man that you die and you don't die. Death to self, you are supposed to be dying daily. Kiss my left cheek or right cheek, two cheeks to the same hole. Go play with your own wing somewhere else. Chicken wing. Ding-a-ling. Go play with your own pole. Two cheeks to the same hole, two wings to the same dragon. Keep your dragon worship away from me, this ISS Dragonlander nonsense. Come on, guys. Father said I am the east and the west. Outer space is not north and south. If there's any such thing as space, get out of my space. Not my space, Twitter. Oh, not X. See, careful. It's all been Americanized. It's psychobabble is what it is, if you ask me. It is. Careful of your vernacular. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. You ever define anything that comes out of your face? Your hole? Like a circle? Hello? Oh, Ohio? Big O, little O, Ohio. Anybody from Ohio? We got anybody from Ohio? I don't know what Ohio okay. What's in Ohio? Vinyl chloride? Palestine, Stein? That's Ohio, right? So I'm glad you came in. Glad you could be a witness. I haven't reached the board for a minute, but I'm giving you this teaching of this. Yeah, Ohio, vinyl chloride, probably the most toxic chemical ever made by man. Ever made. Can't get rid of it, can't destroy it. That's why Father's going to have to use fire this time, and water won't wash away the BP oil spill. Cesium-137, depleted uranium. We've lived off like, I don't know how many nuclear ordinances on this rock already. Thousands of ordinances, and people will freak out if they see a mushroom cloud. Do you see that mushroom cloud in Malaysia, guys? On that gas factory? Anybody see that cloud? Oh, I'm going to take a country minute, a break here, and get some more juniper in the fire, and not my kitty. I'm not going to throw the kitty in the fire. That's the channel kitty. I'm talking about some actual juniper wood. She's out here in the desert. We call her juniper. So, all right. Thanks for coming in. Let's, we'll play with it. We're turning over a new leaf here at the ministry because we have been so occupied by standing up to pigs. Father says, don't sup with vipers. Don't cast your pearls before swine. So swine is a pig. So if you know any, do you know any pigs? You know what a pig is? A pig is a person in government. So I have a thing with pigs. Well, yeah. Fuck Donald Trump and fuck George Washington. So apologize for the cursing. Hopefully it'll soon be over, but I don't care from top to bottom. None of these men have the right of the people. No, they didn't. George Washington was a 33rd degree Mason. So I don't want to hear your nonsense. He was not the first pretendant of this here corporation. It was a constitutional republic back then, but there were 13 colonies. You might want to go back to Georgetown. You might want to go back and restudy your history. You know, like I said, 98% of this populace probably does not know that they banned this masse, this worship of this orgy Christmas Jesus, this baby manger Jesus, you know, birthed in the middle of the winter. And the populace has no idea that's what happened. There are more people outside of the confines of this corporation, America, walls, borders, that know the actual historical record of Roman Catholicism, the deadly head wound that was healed, this, eat my body, drink my blood, crackers and grape juice ritual of masses, the eating of human flesh, that's Catholicism, which is Muslims, which is the Quran. The Quran was written by Catholics. That's how much ignorance Christians are. They're Muslims without a sun god. Fake Jews. They're all a bunch of fake Jews. Anybody who thinks this is a physical Israel or a physical Jew, that's a fake. That's an antichrist, not the antichrist. The antichrist is the seventh king that's locked up in Revelation 9 and 11. The one that Donald Trump has his house decorated with, Apollo the sun god, birthed in the middle of winter. What the hell you do is celebrating birth. You're not supposed to celebrate anything under this New Testament, not even one single day. By faith and faith alone, you are saved. Faith without works is dead, so you're supposed to go out and carry your cross daily. And I don't mean a physical cross. I'm talking about a spiritual cross. You're not supposed to be born again. You're supposed to be born from above. So this perversion, that's the Hebrew word warp. You know what Godspeed is? How about warp speed? Warp is to pervert. You know any perverts? I know one right here. Mr. Chump decorates his house with the sun god Apollo, and people just allow and give him a free pass. He's going to build you the greatest wall ever, and Stu, you got that Reiki Operation Warp Speed symbol, didn't you? Less time it took the revelation sign to come to pass, he gave you the greatest jab. Now $500 billion. If I paid you $1 million a day, it'd take me 180,000 years to pay you off with a 248-hour, like a movie jab. MNRA, Apple jab, Android jab. Nobody gives a shit in this country. I rebuke America. You're a bunch of idiots. You don't know your history, and you're going to repeat it, and soon it won't be America. It'll be Chi-America. And they'll fly blue and yellow instead of red, white, and blue. America, boy, they'll go back to the yellow. Remember when that Chinese fleet in the 14th century, when that in the celestial firmament, they saw that rock coming, wiped out the whole fleet, didn't it? That's how they built the wall, the Great Wall. I thought you were going to get the greatest wall. Instead, you got the greatest jab ever in warp speed. That's your Reiki symbol, by the way. That's Donald Trump, Mr. 9/11. 9/11 is Apollyon. Apollyon is the bringer of the disease and the cure of the disease in warp speed. Boom. How you like that? Apollyon. Yes, the one with the arrow. The rider on the white horse of the apocalypse. This is it. Welcome to the new age. So, thank you for those who have a spiritual eye to see. All right, now I need to throw some juniper on the fire and not my kitty. Hold on.
Where's Kitty at? I'll get her. No, squeal too much.
No, it's a refiner's fire, but not the kitty. Not the kitty. We love our juniper girl. She's such a good kitten. Welcome to the new age. Checking out on the prison bus. Whoa. All right, see you later. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. See you. Hopefully, I got enough char in there, Vander. Pokemon. Oh, Pokemon. Did you guys play? Who played the Pokemon? It's all right if you did. People make mistakes, man. They pushed you on that like me with a car, like a pushy car salesman with Jesus. You're on that daily Jesus. You're pushing that daily cross on me. All right. I've got the cure for the OCD, brothers and sisters. Are you OCD like me? Do you want to be OCD? And I'm not talking about some mental disorder. Woo! Hallelujah. You OCD? You too. 7-day Jesus, 7-day gospel, 7-day Sabbath. You too can be OCD like me. I'm on Christ daily. Yeah. Take that. Put that in your apple pipe, Leviathan, and smoke that. Everyday Jesus. Kid Rock had 250 others in the White House. Did you see that nonsense, guys? There are other countries who are watching this shite. Shizer. Let's go back to the. Oh my gosh, this is starting to feel awful. World War II. They're going to audit Fort Knox, huh? Do you have any gold or silver? That's money. Remember the Constitution? Remember the money shall only be gold and silver by the Treasury? Money. Let's have a little economic talk. We'll take a pause for the cause. 5 shekels paid to the king. You can pay your duty if you'd like. You can leave a comment after the video. Leave one now if you'd like. All right, but don't say anything stupid. I'll fire you out of here like a refiner's fire. Now they've got more meme coins. Now the sun's getting in on the meme coins. What a dirty, dirty dude. What a filthy, filthy man this dude is. Straight game the public with coins, meme coins. More of this. We're going to be the crypto capital of the whole wide ball. If you live on a ball, put ball in the chat. Let's just ask some questions. We won't be too hard on you. Gee, Ward, you're a little hard on the beaver last night. He says his butt's sore. Actors, let me tell you. Gee, Wally, leave it to Beaver. I know. Nice beaver. Remember that movie, Airplane? I just had it stuffed. All right. It doesn't make sense that the money is a real object anymore. Yeah, it's not gold or silver. Remember, money shall be, let's see, we got some money here somewhere. I think I got a piece of money here. Here's some money. This is money. This is money. They call this money. The white metal in many Asian nations and the yellow metal. Yellow, metal, and white. The snow globe. Good stuff. So this is called the white metal. And unless you have some rice and beans, because this is money. Oh, yes. You're standing next to a 500-ounce gold or silver bar, and you got no rice and beans. You are not going to be carried or a single worry with your aching belly about your gold bar that you can't eat. So do that first, and get a water filter too. Get a Sawyer Mini. Get a what are you pushing water filters on people? I wonder how many water filters we've sold for Sawyer and for Life Straw. All glory to Father is paying the price. So either way, filter all your water and film all your police you always audit the police. Yep, fuck the police. Pigs, people in government. Well, pigs are police and people who work for the government. So all of them. Yep, he said don't sup with clowns. No, he didn't. He said vipers. And don't cash your pearls, clowns. Why does he paint his face orange like that sun right there and nobody cares? The sun is white. Would somebody update him? I want to see him look like one of these soy boys. I want to see Trump with a white face. Trump, you got no balls. If you truly listen to this channel and you give a shit about the words that come out of this face and you have no balls, Trump, you and your FBI from the bottom to the top, your DOJ, paint that dude's, get his makeup clown and paint his face white. You might have figured out their dumbass chump, Commander in Queef. Mr. Red Lollipop. Yeah, Mr. Rebloodpikin. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Paint your face white like the sun. If I actually put a white sun in front of you, though, brothers, sisters, you would never, for teaching's sake, you would never recognize it. You wouldn't. Because I could put this word right here and put sun, and I could teach you all day, but your eyeballs won't allow that. You'll still think I'm a lunatic. And what I'm saying, yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Paint your face white, you fucking clown. Let me see you paint your face like a clown, like a joker, you jackass. Like two jokers in a deck, like a mule stubborn ass old man, you fuck's sake. Oh, he's pushing the buttons again. Come on, chump, you fucking prick. You gonna get your DOJ involved and put your fucking symbol on my work? Well, then paint your face fucking white or you ain't got no balls, Bell Ball. They must have castrated and cut them off. Ha ha! You know what it is to castrate a bull? Ooh, Rocky Mountain oyster, baby. Ooh, like Colorado. Ooh, the king of beers. Oh, never mind. Going off on the silver bullet. Like refiner's fire, brothers and sisters. Always comes to fruition. No, if Donald Trump if he had any level competing with me, Donald Trump ain't shit. He'd paint his face white. If Donald Trump paints his face white like a clown I'll fucking stop talking fucking exposing and shining the goddamn white light on him. I will. Come on, Mr. DOJ. Whoever the fuck keeps watching this channel, putting my work on the debt calculator, paint that dumb fuck's face orange. Why don't you tell him the sun's fucking white now and not orange? You're a dumb fuck, Donald Trump. So, anyways, they got no balls. His makeup clowns won't do that. They won't. I have more power than Mr. Chump. I could run this country 1,000,000 times better than that frickin' lunatic. I definitely wouldn't decorate my house with Satan. Would you vote for me if I decorated my fucking house with Satan? Well, how many people? 81 million people did for it during the 46th administration and the first time, and how many the second time? So fuck you. I could run this country better than him. Absolutely. I would automatically repeal this posse comitatus. They could use the fucking military against you. Why hasn't Trump said a goddamn thing about that? They can send our fucking, we go to war one more, this is coming to war. We're at war right now. I mean, I'm talking about a physical bombs falling in America war. They can draft the women. And if you look what they're doing right now, they get involved with Iran and Yemen and with Hezbollah and Hamas and Israel. And oh yeah, Ukraine, dude, we're going to have to send our women to war. And that's bullshit. So fuck Donald Trump. I ain't heard him say one thing about that. Mr. Badman Orange, have some balls and paint your face white like the fucking sun, like it really is, and stop fronting that old school bullshit Back to the Future with your old school sun god Mithra. Why don't you come out of your closet and tell everybody who you really are with this Mandela effect you got going with all your first Adam's apple ladies? Yeah, ooh, like Adam and Eve in the gardens. Take that, Mr. Chump, and put that in your apple pipe and smoke that. Not fentanyl patches. He's the one who created that whole scamdemic. Oh, and the scamdemic, and brought in all these fucking Remember, Chump, right, inherited a fucking border problem from vomit. So I don't want to hear this shit, but this Mr. I'm going to build the greatest wall ever, and still you got the greatest jab. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Boom. Take that. Once again, paint your face white. Tell him, DOJ, you listen to this shit. You ain't got no balls, DOJ. You ain't even called me once. For how many fucking years I've been exposing this state and this county with this sheriff's office. Yeah, the whole system's a fucking joke. Instead, you bring 20 plus men armed to the teeth that try to kill me, and I'm still up here talking shit. No, I'll tell you the truth about this bad man Orange who won't even paint his face white like the sun god now. I want to see you look like a boy, a soy boy, like a meme, like a clown, like a circus clown that you are. I can run this country 1,000,000 times better than Donald Trump. Okay, he ain't no military veteran. He drafted the fucking dodged the draft. Now they'll draft fucking women. He'll go right along with it, and he won't go to fucking war. He'll send all his men with guns and take all your fucking Second Amendment from you. Bad man Orange, red flag gun law. I know personally, when you go after this system, they'll come after you. The price you pay. Remember, you ain't taking flack. You ain't over the fucking target, soldier. Move out and draw fire. Now you know why I say draw fire. Carry on as you were. Thank you. I ain't playing. Seriously, guys. Why is this okay that this guy decorates his house with Satan and nobody gives a shit? Because you're a bunch of chumps. You ride the train. Come on, ride that train. No, ride it. Yeah, right into the station. Huh. I remember putting that on my Facebook blog. Oh, my family loves this train. They'll ride in the train because they're a bunch of wealthy idiots. A bunch of actors go around. All they care about is what the world thinks of them. He said, be in it, but be not of it. Patriot Acts, Rect 84, Jade Helm, right? Operate. What is the one that came after Jade Helm? It's because I'm just trying to remember. But thanks, Jeff. They've been doing this, this controlling whatever it was, but they're definitely doing this now. I do want to say we're going to get back to some economic talk real quick here, guys. Gold is an indicator of pandemonium, chaos, when things have, the reins have kind of been let go. So I hope you see that gold pushing 170, 184, $3,184, an all-time high. I'm not giving any investment advice, but I do want to talk about silver and gold because he tells us we must be as silver and gold. We must be refined. to create that process that we go through. It's a smelting process that burns that impurities out of us. So no matter what, like in my situation, I don't know what the hell Father wants me to do, but I just got to have faith and be patient and not, be kind and understand I know what he's doing. But it is what it is. I've got to allow him to do what it is that he's doing, because he poured out a just measure. Nate video on. No, I didn't watch Nate's video on silver. I missed it. And I wish I would have, because I did. I watched the other recent one and I watched the one before it, but I haven't got to Nate's video on silver. And I know Nate, he's a very well-studied gentleman, and I'm sure he put out a very good unbiased, because he doesn't talk about, he's not a precious metals pumper. He doesn't, and I got a channel that's called Silver's Like Gold, and I don't pump precious metals. It's money. You have enough gold and silver. Wealth is gold and silver. You have enough gold and silver. You are wealthy. Remember, don't be too wealthy. Warning, you don't want to be too wealthy. He said, be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man through the gates of heaven. That's why fuck Donald Trump. When they asked him that same thing about being wealthy, he sat there and played stupid like he didn't understand what they were talking about. Then he actually quoted the scripture. Oh, where it says to be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man through the gates of heaven. Well, I'm inventing a microscopic line of camels, and I'm sparing no expense. Fuck Donald Trump. You couldn't be more blasphemous to the scripture than that. Tell me something more blasphemous than that. I'm inventing a microscope. This is coming from a billionaire. I'm inventing a microscopic line of camels, and I'm sparing. Fuck you, he's saying to God and the scripture, and I'm sparing the man who says he can't sin. Right? I am the chosen one. Why do people fall for this? That's fine. I'm not trying to change anyone. So, brothers, sisters, okay, well, I think that's a little offline. I follow a lot of people in the silver market. There's many people. If you want to know the silver market, I would go to Andy Sheckman. He's very aware. He's a supply dealer for the U.S. Mint, and he's going to be very aware of what's going on in the silver market. Probably the biggest channel that you could go to for silver alone would be Bix Weir. Filter out some of his pay me my silver now, pay me or go to jail, pay me my. He's an artist, so he does his work or whatever, but he will tell you things about the COMEX and who's lending out and how many, and how many actually how many shorts that people are shorting the market, who's putting there's like right now, somebody just purchased a massive amount of gold. There ain't no stopping gold now. No, there's not. Even if gold pulls back, good. We need the gold to pull back. For all those people who understand the market, nothing goes straight up. Go straight up, it's going to come down. It's going to crash. You want it to stair step. If it pulls back, normally a market will give, in a 6 to 8 year cycle, will give about 10 to 20% of its gains back. So pulling back is a good thing. Nothing goes straight up. That's why I was warning people with Trump cycle. Bitcoin's not have anything to do with gold. Fuck Bitcoin and compare it to gold. Invest in Bitcoin while all ships rise in a rising tide. There's other coins that you can look to. I would suggest going to David Devine at Adapt 2030 if you want to look into the crypto market. I'm not talking against crypto. People have made millions, and I would suggest if you plan on making $1 million, make $2 million to cover your taxation so you can actually have life. Then cash out and go into other things. Don't cash in all your Bitcoin ever. Keep some of the Bitcoin, and all, like gold or silver, don't cash in all your gold or silver ever, 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 ever sell ever. So take that and get into some gold and silver, buy some beans, buy some Band-Aids, buy some bullets, buy a piece of land, stay in the market, pay those stupid fucking taxes. I hate taxes, but pay them so you can do it now. I didn't want to do it, and that's fine. My son came to me when Bitcoin was, I had $3,000. I just sold a motorhome of mine, and he's like, Dad, I know you're not going to go to the coin shop and you're going to buy, yes, I like copper. Personally, I'm not giving you any economic advice, but I believe copper will be the new silver, because copper will be unobtainium at the level it is now. They just took the fucking penny. which they weren't even using copper in a sense the minute. But the point is, that's another war sign of what happened during 1945. Put all the gold in the Fort Knox vault. I'm trying to give you an understanding. This is an economic cycle. There's an 80-year cycle for a reserve currency. And the U.S. time in 1945, it's 2025. The time is up, brothers and sisters. They're changing the system. They're going to a digitized system, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter. It's already, China already has a gold-backed, centralized, gold-backed yuan. Many nations are moving into this space. It's not permanent. It is temporary. It's clad is what it is. Jeff, it's a clad penny. I can't believe my son showed me. He's like, he used like one of those dab torches, and he hit that penny, that copper or that clad penny, and that thing just turned in all blue, got all weird color. He flicked it, the thing just went to crap. And that, you can't do that. That's a meltdown. Oh, sorry, son. Oh, well, fuck off, government. But anyways, then he hit that torch on that copper pre-82 penny, and that thing wouldn't burn. So copper, brothers and sisters, I'm not looking forward to this day where people start ripping apart fucking couches and washing machines. That's going to get to some Mad Max shit there. And they're going there. That's what Trump's telling us. In Ukraine, fuck it. You give us the minerals, we'll make a fucking deal. Oil, minerals, all of it's about minerals. This is the age where they're getting away from digits as far as a stock market, where it's some put, stop, stay derivative, and all that market's piling into the asset market. And so they can digitize blockchain, digitally track and trace the asset. Like they can trade a whole boat of sorghum for, maybe wheat, and the difference could be traded in gold and silver. These cross-border payments that they started doing, which is the SIPs, not the SWIFT. The SWIFT system is what's kept this, reserve currency, pay for all this U.S. oil with the U.S. dollar through this SWIFT system. It's like a fucking dinosaur system, brothers and sisters. That's why these BRICS nations started going around and taking payments, such as the Saudi nation that wouldn't take any other payments. We'd go fuck you up, send our goddamn military in. They never did find any weapons of mass destruction. Ask Muammar Gaddafi. We fucked that place up. You ever seen South Africa before we went in there? One of the most beautiful places ever. Brought in all that water from the sea, was tapping into the sandspon aquifer, growing all that sorghum out there in the desert. He was going to pay for fucking oil with something other than the dollar. Same thing with Saddam Hussein, going to pay with gold, with the dinar. The Iraqi, they fucked him up, and he was a fucking trained operative. Another one of these bin Ladens trained by the CIA. It's bullshit. These people don't like, bin Laden was an oil tycoon. Did fucking business with the Trumps and the fucking Clintons and the Bushes for fucking over a decade. Bullshit. You guys are just falling for this shit. That's what's fucked up, is for 50 years, we have taken and forced every nation to pay for the U.S. oil, because when France came back in 1971, that said, all right, motherfuckers, we don't trust the golds in Fort Knox. Give us the fucking gold back. And it's crickets since this whole audit of Fort Knox, just like the audit of the Fed that never happened. Donald Trump blew, pal. I mean, the bubble that he said, remember, the economy's in a bubble. It's going to blow. I'm going to build the greatest. This was candidate Trump, remember? Oh, I'm now a Republican, right? And he was candidate Trump, all these things. I'm going to build the greatest wall ever. And all this, the economy's in a bubble. It's going to, instead, he blew pal's bubble, Mr. Poker Face, Yellow Stain, right? Gregory Mannarino, too. You want to see true economic? Anybody watch Gregory Mannarino? Who does Gregory Mannarino say is running this country? Who's running this whole system right now? Who's running the system right now? Who's running it? It ain't fucking some government. They're puppets.
Chase Van in.
Oh, remember the collapse of 08? The collapse of 08? Fuck you, America. We don't want your fucking... No, we want your bank. And they took over Chase Manhattan from the sidelines. Thank you. I get the right answer. Yeah, the word no. The banksters, the central banks are controlling all of this, brothers, sisters. There are people that are richer than Trump, richer than fucking Elon Musk. You don't ever see these people. These people never come out into the fucking open. These are their talking heads. Donald Trump's family name was Drumpf. I'm not saying he's not a kingpin in this whole bringing in this va, this unleashing of this new system, this beast system. Oh, shit. Hold on, guys. I got to put some wood in the wood stove. I got to take a pause for the cause and put some wood in the wood stove. Or I lose all my coals. I don't have any more Ponderosa, so I'm using... Oh, hey, shit. Fire. We just need to open her up. There's all kinds of wood in there. She's never chooched. Yeah, I'm going to let her rip. All right, take a pause for the cause. Where did I put my wire?
Look out, kids. Come on, Marcy. Get over, Marcy.
Come here, girl.
Girl, come
Get
on.
over, good girl. Sweet pea.
Oh,
Oh, such good kids hanging out in the house.
I need to see if I got some wood going. Sure, I'm brought out.
Yeah, that doesn't burn like that. And if it was, normally I don't have no problems with this. If it's in season, it'll burn like a mad fire. Juniper was excellent. Well, let's go a little bit. I got that flue opened up.
Hey.
Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Take a pause for the cause. Smoke them if you got them. That's a military term. Oh, never mind. Stovepipe. Oh. Well, plug1light.com. Plug1light.com. Nah, that'll wait more teaching. We'll go back to we'll do the reteach on this whole equinox, equal day, equinox, hard knocks. The school of hard knocks. I put those birds up when it was fucking hailballing us.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
That's pretty funny. It hit us and then it melted off pretty quick. I mean, it's still out there, but it's nice. It didn't stick. Didn't stay long. That's kind of normally how it does it out here. It snows and then it'll go away pretty quickly.
Some snow going on.
Let me crow.
He's fucking whacking it.
Something out there cutting it up. Some kind of bird. I get my fire going again. Got to keep the cabin warm. My fan quit spinning. Can normally catch that before it stops, but it's all right. We'll get her ripping. Making some rips here off the stove pipe. Stove pipe. There we go. I hear her clicking now, boys. She's a clanking. She's a popping and a cracking. It's cracking now. There we go. All right. Look at Venezuela for USA. There we go. Venezuela. There's another great. A Venezuela, a bolivar is the currency in Venezuela, the Venezuela bolivar. In Venezuela, a cheeseburger, before the U.S. regime went in there and fucked everything up, the most second rich oil nation on this rock. And in a matter of 5 years, it was a socialist country now. All their health care was covered. All their, they had a lot of things, kind of like Gaddafi had going in South Africa. Very similar. And I'm not into socialism. Socialism means that Lion's got 3 bikes and maybe Kevin doesn't have one. So Lion, you're gonna have to give up your bike because Kevin doesn't have one and Jeff doesn't have one either. So that's socialism. And socialism always leads to communism. It's just a matter of time. One always leads to the other. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out, because Venezuela is a pure prime example of what could happen to a country like the United States, where our US dollar could inflate and that $5 Boulevard cheeseburger could go for $500. And at that time, one piece of silver would buy you a whole month's worth of groceries. Yep. There's an example just years ago. One piece of silver would buy you a whole month's worth of groceries. Or 500 Boulevard would buy you a cheeseburger, which was $5. I don't think you can even get a burger right now for $5 in this corporation called America. I know they've got some of those. It was like $18 for a fucking Big Mac or something, value meal for a minute here in this corporation called America. I don't eat fast food, so I don't know the current prices, but I have seen the advertisements come back that they started having to reel back. You know, Subway couldn't do their fucking $5 footlong. They couldn't make it in the business. They tried to do a buy one, get one free, but that's the only way they can make it. So definitely there's been a change, you know, an economic shift in this country through an inflation creation machine called the central banks, who are printing money and lending it to the United States, which is illegal. And that's not the way it should be. It is in gold and silver. Gold and silver only. That's what it says in the Constitution. Shall be by the Treasury in gold and silver. So this whole printing of this, there's been 4,800 currencies put into circulation. And the only ones that haven't gone to zero are the ones that are currently in circulation right now. So what makes you think that these ones that are in circulation right now, like the US dollar, aren't going to zero? Eventually it will. Now, again, with this SIP system, the old system was the SWIFT system, where this was the cross-border payment system. Now they have this central international payment system through these BRICS nations, which is more than 40% of the world's populace. Superpowers, nuclear powers, military power. And Trump just sloughs them off. The BRICS is nothing. They're just destroyed. No, fuck, they are not. They're rebuilding and rebranding that old Silk Road. Remember the old trade routes through the Africas, through all those trade routes, through how, remember, that's how they took the silver from China. They went in and got them hooked on opium. Made them pay for it with silver. Now they got United States hooked on fentanyl, and they're taking all the silver and gold. And I'll be the crazy Noah until there's no more silver and gold in the comics. All the gold is out of the comics, gone. That's never happened before. They go, 5 months more at the rate that they're pulling gold out of the comics? There'll be no more. What are you going to do when you can't price? I was talking to Kevin and gaming this. I'm like, how would the world work, Kevin? You know, when you can't get a price on this paper contract. $34. That's for paper, you dumbass. There's a premium for holding this shit. Silver's been $50 3 times before in history. Gold's an indicator of chaos. It's at an all-time high. Do I need to question where the chaos level is? 31.84. That's an all-time high. Silver is all-time high in 80, 2000s. Remember, and during the COVID, the premium on a silver eagle, this is an eagle hit over $25. So silver's already a silver eagle right now online is $41. So we're only $9 off the premium.
That's up $150 in a week.
I represent the Illuminati. I'm watching you. Well, fuck you, George Washington, you 33rd-degree Mason. You believe in eating kids. Fuck you, stupid Illuminati. You watched. I'm not talking about a physical death. You know who Dabu 7 is? You ain't watching shit. You're some clown troll. You ain't shit. The government watches me. I don't care about some stupid fucking Illuminati. You're just a pawn. Yep, whittle that whole goddamn tree down just to make one you, pawn. Being moved around on the chessboard, slave. You got no biz. You got no knowledge. You're just a worker bee. You can't try. I told you, I fucking stand against Trump. Did you during the scamdemic 1.0? You ain't doing shit about this now. You work for the fucking government. You work for these dark workers of darkness, children of darkness, unfruitful works of darkness, but you're just a troll. I know you by your fruit already. I can tell. That's not how they work. They do their works in secret. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. People like me, tinfoil or aluminum? You tell me. Oh, they're meeting in California in the desert. Out. No, wait. Oh, it's in the woods, and they're burning big statues, you know, or they're burning candles and, yeah, statues of owls. And, oh, I'm a crazy tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, right? Now we're meeting in Davos, Switzerland. So you're not watching shit. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Take that. I walk in the shadow of the valley of death. You go walk in death, not physical death. You're an idiot. You have no protection. You worship a fake Lucifer. There's no such thing as Lucifer, you idiot. Illuminati, my ass. You're just faking the black and the white, the dark and the light. You're an idiot. You're a useful idiot is all you are. So you're not truly a 33-degree Mason. I can tell you have the education of a fly. Like, you know, Lord of the Rings or Lord of the Fly. Get out of here, you idiot. You couldn't hold your ass, know your ass from a hole in the ground. Seriously. So don't come in here and claim something you're not. That's called a hypocrite or faking the funk. You're fronting to something you're not. Just like most Americans who say they're Christians, they're Satanists. Most people say they're religious Satanists, the adversary. So you might want to pound sand and go somewhere else and try to pull your bullshit. Government's run by who? The banksters. That's what I'm talking about. So go take your bullshit, black and white, you know, Illuminati bullshit somewhere else. You don't know what the Illuminati is. So pound sand, little man, you stand against a man that's eternal, and no weapon formed against no fiery darts will penetrate this armor. How do you like that? Take that, stake that right there in your apple pipe. Once again, take a puff off of that. See if you can find your most high off of that. And I ain't talking about Arabs when I'm talking ISIS. Fuck you. Horus. Idiots. Come in here and tell me so. Oh, I'm the Illuminati and I'm watching you.
Oh, always watching, Wazowski, always watching.
All right. Burning men in the desert. They do it every year. There, oh, the burning of the man. There we go. Like the burning of the flesh of the Yule wheel. Thanks for bringing us back front and center. These idiots. You know how many people are useful idiots? A genre. I'm this. I'm nothing. How about that? No genre. Take that. No genre. I don't do none of that. You fell for some. I'm black. I'm white. I'm neither. I don't have a race. If I'm a race, I'm set apart. They call me alien because I'm different from the world. And you believe in Bigfoot too, huh? All right. No such thing as speaking in tongues, brothers and sisters. Please grow up. Don't come in here and try to claim something you're not. I'll sniff you out. I'm like a dog. I have been since I was young, like a hound dog, like Dick Tracy, if you will. Yeah. Get it, Sherlock? No shit, Sherlock Holmes. Like Tyson? Like Evander Holyfield? Whose ear are you biting off? What are you biting? See, you're biting something that you're not. You're fronting. That's all you are. Quit sagging your pants. Pull them up. You know what that means in prison? Get out of here. Take your lightsaber and go stick it in somebody else's ice hole. No, it's not hippies, John Wick. It's not. It's hipsters now, and it's a whole different genre breed of a bunch of these fake Luciferian idiots. They're idiots. A bunch of useful idiots like this idiot who came in there and said that. They are. Most of them are very wealthy. It costs a lot of money to go to Burning Man, but they're a bunch of useful idiots like actors. Everybody you know is an actor. 98%, 9% of the people you know are fronting. They are putting on a front like Trump. If that dude was anything, and if he was as badass as I am, and he could take a grenade to the face, he ain't never served in the military. He'd paint his fucking face white like the sun. He'd stop fronting to some fake old Apollyon sun god and have a 66-floor tower destroy that fucking building like he did 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes and come clean. about his Ivan man shell wife, Adam's apple. So I don't want to hear this crap about how come he didn't say anything about one race, the human race. He copped that from this channel. So let me see you paint your face white there, sun god. Love her so much. If you love the sun god so much and you love the current sun, it was Saturn they prayed to, brothers, sisters, not the sun.
Julia Roberts.
They thought the sun was going away. Apollyon is the sun god. Oh, Julia Roberts. There we go. Oh, that was some more 48 hours. Warp speed, huh? So, but no, good stuff, guys. I hope you see what it is. What do we got going here? His wife was a dude. Do you know how to, John, do you know how to portion? I'm a expert witness. You know what an expert witness is? A credible witness? Somebody who can testify in a court of law. I was a law enforcement pig, prior law enforcement officer, served in the 90s when a man could not, I had to call in for a backup officer to do a pat or a frisk search pat down. So no matter whether it is just the way it was back then, you couldn't stick your hand down a woman's fucking pants, and vice versa. A woman couldn't stick her hand down a man's pants. Now that happens every day on the side of the road, throughout in fucking private rooms. So it's sickening, just filthy, disgusting, sickening. For fucking fuck you, the two stupidest words I've ever heard is officer safety. Find another job, asshole. You never heard a song called Fuck the Fireman, have you? A fireman will run into your building to save your gerbil. Cop don't give a fuck. All he cares about is safety, officer safety. So never heard a song called Fuck the Fireman, have you? Nope. See the difference? So I am a credible witness, and I know how to identify a man and a woman. We are portioned differently. Let me see your pelvic bone. We can right there through x-ray or whatever. You can't change your pelvic bone, but we are portioned different. I know I'm a military veteran. You know, Posse Comitatus is they can't use the military against us. Now they can, just for a mental note. You want to take that. Yeah, but they can draft our women into war. You don't put a woman in a foxhole, because all I can think about is her foxhole. Guarantee you that. See how that worked out in Ukraine? Whole Ukrainian generation of women and men unalived. Yep, average fighting age is about 42 years old. Where are you going with this? They got to use drones now. Russia's using drones, Iran drones. Where are all these drones coming from? What a piece of shit. I mean, at least back in most time, a man would have to look a man hand-to-hand combat in the eye and take his eye. Now the man from a fucking joystick is going to kill a man from somewhere out of the sky using silver. Save silver. Save lives. That's right. Take this away from this military industrial complex. This is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. But as a prior pig law enforcement officer, I know how to identify a man and a woman. I don't need a man or a woman. I can have you flipped around. I need to see the beard on your face. The beard on your face to know that you're a man. They got these half men, half women, weird ass looking, whatever, chimera looking weird ones now. Half your women in your what is it, Victoria's Secret. It used to be the Sears catalog. Hey, whatever. That's all we had back then. But the Victoria's are men. Seriously, you don't know how to portion a man or a woman. Let me tell you, in the military, men have a different physical standard, training standard, PT, physical training standard than women. They don't have this. They're not built the same. They don't have the same frame. They don't have the same shoulder width. They don't have the same head height. They don't have, nope, his hips are different. Nope, they don't have the same structure. So I don't care if you identify as you're some dude and you put a pearl necklace on, you got some chainmail purse and they throw you in the dirt. They're going to dig you up 1,000 years from now and identify, say, that's a dude. I don't care what you identify as. Your pelvic bone will be the dead giveaway. So men and women are portioned completely different. Man has 3 head heights. From my shoulder, notice I have a whole nother head. Women are missing a half a head height. And women, I don't care if you're a giantism or you got dwarfism, that don't change. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to show you. Men have what is called 3 head heights. If I stand here, you can tell I was portioned as a man. I've got a whole nother, that's called horizontal gaze nystagmus is a prior for law enforcement pig. What I want you to do is focus on the tip of my pen. You see the tip of my pen? What I want you to do is focus on the tip of my pen. Follow the tip of my pen with your eyes and eyes only. Do you not understand? Oh, let me get you back in this. What I want you to do is put your arms to get oh, you want me to run you through the whole standard field? So right? No, come on. I've done this shit for a living. I had to, before I could search and put my hands on a woman, if that was a dude, I had to be able to identify the difference between a man and a woman, or I could lose my job. So as a credible witness, I can identify that the subject was running away from me, and he had 8 head heights. 8. A woman is 7. I can tell his shoulders were wider than his hips. A woman rears children. She's shaped like an hourglass. Wah, 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 wah. Remember that? Oh, yeah. A woman rears children. Her hips open up. Why do you think her hips are wider than her shoulders? Hello. These are all things that were built completely different. Like I said, I don't care if you're some, have dwarfism or giantism, the structure doesn't change. So the hands is another one. You ever want a man that's got a lot of testosterone in? Look for a man whose ring finger, look at this, see, this is called your ring finger, where if you do this pagan marriage bullshit by putting a ring on your finger, that's the halo. And you notice this pointer finger, this is called your pointer finger. You see how this pointer finger exceeds my ring finger? Look how different that is. See the difference in that? A man who has a lot of testosterone in his body, generally you'll see who's going to have a much shorter pointer finger, and a woman who has estrogen. And just because you have hands and you have hands as a man, there are men who don't have as much testosterone in their body. And that doesn't mean you're born as a woman, because I can look at the rest of you and say, okay, well, no, he's got 8 head heights, his shoulder, hands are a little bit of a part that has a variance, but men who are high testosterone, I'm an example of that. You can see a whole nother finger. If you look at that, you can take the difference and look at the difference in that. So if you have a wife, ask her to hold her hand out and put it in front of you and ask you to look at your wife's hand. It's her index finger is going to be very, very close to her ring finger. That's because you don't have that. That's an estrogen thing or a testosterone thing. It doesn't mean you're a chick. If your hand, you're looking at her like, oh shit, honey, I've got no. Get in the mirror. Look, you got a whole nother head. Your wife's got a head and a half. She's got 2.5. She's got 7. Look at her. I don't care what she's shaped as. Not hopefully not a pear, but is what it is. But anyways, her hips are going to be wider. Shape don't matter. Everybody needs loving. All right, is what it is. But what I'm saying is her hips, women rear children, and they're going to be wider. Okay, so these are things. And the other thing that's a dead giveaway is men, right, have Adam's apples. So all the first ladies, why do they have Adam's apples? This isn't a new phenomenon. It didn't start with Reggie. Who the fuck is Manshell? Michael? His name wasn't Michael. And it's not Manshell. Get it straight. He was an Oregon State Beaver who played for the Oregon State Beavers. That was President 44. So do the structure and you'll see, remember there on the channel when we got the floppy cock going around there on the Ellen DeGeneres show or whatever the hell whatever that lady, whatever dudette or whatever that is. I don't know. That's an abomination is what it is. But this whole, isn't that funny too? Mr. Chump didn't say anything about that on his 1.0, but 2.0. Oh, there's only one race, the human race, man. And we sound just like this channel. Paint your face white, chump, or you ain't shit. Show the world. You got to leave it like that too. You can't just do it once. Come on, the sun's still white. You can't go back to orange. Nobody will recognize you. If I called the sun white and told you this was the sun, I could give you a teaching all day long, and your brain would not register the sun. It says sun right there, idiots. Look about this. It doesn't. I'll put this is the sun. I don't even have to say sun, and your body will, look how tight it is. It will register. Look at that sun. Oh, the sun. What the dude is this dude talking about the moon? The sun. Paint your face white like the sun, you idiot. Donald Trump. He ain't got shit on me, brothers, sisters. He doesn't. That's why I reveal his stupid Operation Sky Daddy warp speed skyboat. I'm so glad that we made it through the end of the day and nobody was sprung up this fake rapture. But I don't hold nothing. They will eventually pull some bullshit. They'll placebo this effect on you. You'll manifest your own bullshit. You will. Absolutely, you'll think that you'll believe in some word called rapture that was never written in scripture, and you'll be lifted into the sky because Father isn't somewhere above your head. That's space farce. So I have an intuition, if you will, not prophecy or a prophet, but prophet is teacher. I can give you an understanding of this teaching of this, North and South believing that 99% of the people, if you walk down the street, believe God's in the sky, heaven's in the sky. God's not in the sky. Heaven's not above your head. That's some kind of false teaching. You have been taught by some kind of television. You've been told lies, and you won't define anything that's in Scripture. And you're not aligned with Scripture. You're actually with the Greek word. Let's use some Hebrew. Let's to change, to twist, or to warp, or to pervert would be the word froward. Froward. You froward Scripture by adding that God is in the sky. God is in a word. There was no A, E, I, O's, or U's in Hebrew, so his name was not God. I'm a military veteran. That is a rank or a title. So I don't want to hear your nonsense. No Hebrew, Yahushua, Yeshua, all this. He said when he was in the flesh, he said that you tell them, I am. Before Abraham was, I am. I am the Aleph. I am the Aletheia. I am the Hados. I am the Horizo. East and west. East and west. Not north and south. This is Satan. This is Satan. This world worships Satan. Jesus Christ, born in a manger, the sun god. So I'm not going to let this bad man Orange get away with it until he'd at least paint his face like a fucking clown, like he is, and paint it white. You got the best makeup artist on this rock. Let's go into this. How do you think they get away with these women? Oh, wait, are they wearing all these padded and brooches and collars and necklaces? Who's the has the number one makeup artist on this rock? The First Ladies, you dumb fucks. The First Ladies. Who has the best makeup artist on this rock? We don't say shalom in here, Ken, because he says those who say peace and safety, sudden destruction to come upon those who call out for peace. So he said, I did not come to bring peace. This is the backbone of this ministry, to bring shalom. I did not come to bring shalom. I came to bring a sword of division, because he's the rider not with the bow and the crown, but the rider that holds the scepter, the one with, yes, the scepter shall not depart from Judah till Shiloh returns. He's not a peace Jesus, shalom. He is the tribulation. That is the Greek word thalipsis. How about that? We'll speak some Greek in here. So we can actually, he was a Hebrew Israelite who was, yes, at the time of Rome. Remember Constantine? Thank you for coming in. But warning, those who call out for shalom or peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon those. Do not think that I came to bring peace upon this rock, this earth, right? I came. Yep, no, but I'm saying, no, just, hey, this is how iron sharpens iron. Thanks for coming in. Backbone of the ministry, Matthew 10:34 through 39. I came to bring sword of division, just like the wheat that was divided. Remember, I will separate the wheat from the chaff. Here's this division, split right down the middle of that. Look at that, brothers, sisters. Hallelujah. The work of this ministry right here. I am the Aletheia. I am the leader. I am the Alpha. I am. This is Greek. This is what he said in Greek. So you might want to study Greek. That's the omega sign. The N, the omega. The ox, the leader. The O and the X. Why do you think they love that PlayStation controller like I showed you earlier? They're playing games with you. Don't you remember with their all-seeing eye? Hello. All-seeing eye. You mean like the eye at the top? Yeah, like the eye. You have an eye to see. Spiritual eye. The eye is supposed to be single, brothers, sisters. The eye is the lamp of the body, is what he tells us. The eye, the vessel. If the eye is filled with light, then the whole vessel is filled with light. If the eye is filled with darkness, then the whole lamp, the whole vessel is filled with darkness. They don't mix. He makes that very clear. Water, oil, Don't mix. Iron will not cleave with the watery clay. They're stinky musk rat, because I'm calling out to you, everybody burning your Teslas. Isn't that ironic? Because everybody knows you're a fraud. Mr. Baphomet, people's champion. People's champion. Baphomet, he wears the people's champion outfit. Champion, remember? What's blasphemy? So I'm not calling for any violence or destroying anybody's property or none of this. But I think it's rather ironic that people are standing up to this idiot who's sitting there fronting as some man who gives a shit about America, who don't give a rat's ass about this country. He only cares about lining his pockets. He's just a chump. He's a stinky musk, and he is Donald Trump's stinky muskrat buddy, and they both done stuck their lightsabers in their eye holes. He's another island boy. EpiPen, they love their Adrena like a muffler chrome. Suck on that. This is the symbol of Donald Trump's Apollyon sun god. They had a festival for a 7-day where they would take a peasant, and for 1 week they would marinate him with both man, beast, and woman. This is called Christmas. Jesus Christ, you know, any of this religious idiocracy that these idiots celebrate, it's not 2025, you idiots. It's April Fool's. Happy New Year, you idiots. The new year doesn't start in the middle of the winter. That's Satan, the sun god. Apollyon, at the time of Christ, it was called Mithra. That was the sun god, the deadly head wound that was healed by Constantine, rebranded at the time of Rome. The worshiping of this Yule wheel worship of this sun god, where they thought the sun was dying, they prayed to Kronos, Saturn. They thought the sun was dying. Remember, he said there would be signs in the stars and the sun, and they thought the sun, so they prayed to Saturn to try to slow the sun. They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the North Star or Pole Star. So this is the idiocracy of the human race right now, who celebrates 2025 and the New Year's bangs this orgy ritual, and then they bang pots and pans 1 week later, giving their oath and all their New Year's resolutions. No wonder you can't keep your fucking New Year's resolution, you idiot. You're fucking giving your resolution to some sun god in the middle of the winter. New life, New Year starts in the spring there, knucklehead, Nimrod. God is not north and south. He said, I am the horizo. I am the horizo. I am the horizo. I am the horizo. He didn't say I'm the life. He said, I am the horizon. He said, I am the hados, which means I am the narrow way. Let's teach this. This is worth the teaching. Hallelujah. We'll do this because this is part of the gospel. You need this teaching. This is what you need. You need some of this gospel. You need to be 7. Let me help you out here. Give you some gospel. Narrow is the way. He said, I am the hados, I am the aletheia, and I am the horizo. He didn't say I'm the life. He said, I am the horizon. I'm the divider of the dark and the light, the day and the night. Because once again, they thought at the equinox that the sun was dying, and they prayed to the son of Satan, Tammuz. This is, again, your yin-yang symbol, brothers and sisters. Once again, your yin-yang symbol is the same symbol. Or once again, this is your Christmas wreath. Oh, we just made this. Darn it. Made that wet. See the around the box here. Your Christmas wreath. It's the same thing. This is your same symbol where, again, they thought this goddess of heaven. Remember, this is all dark months where it starts out at the equinox at 9:23 with the same amount of day, same amount of light, like over here in the spring. Equinox, equal day, equal night. Spring equinox, fall equinox, yin-yang symbol. That's the Christmas wreath. That's the swastika. So My generation relates with a movie almost everyone watched. A film called High School Musical. I remember the song saying, soaring, flying, there's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. Thanks for sharing that, Don. Appreciate that testimony. Giving us some good info there. Come on, fire crank. So this yin yang symbol, again, is these dark months where, again, they thought the sun was dying at the equinox, and so they prayed to Saturn to try to slow the sun. And then all these pagans, what they did is they had a sacrifice of a festival where they would burn a peasant and let him live for 1 week as the king of this Yule Wheel festival, where, again, this is all aligning the equinox. Equal day, equal night. Equal dark, equal light at the equinox to align. This is a reversion of the Hebrew calendar. This is not how the calendar works. This is to align their sun god Satan, or Apollyon, of the birth of their sun god, to align in the middle of the winter, where they prayed to the Tammuz, the son of Satan, where they thought the constellations were going under the sea. Under the sea, that sounds like Walt Disney. Exactly. Under the sea, Little Mermaid. Tried it. King, Zeus. All that's Christianity. That's played on your ignorance is what that is. You don't know scripture and they're laughing at you. Walt Disney mocks Jiminy Christmas, crickets. There's no such thing as a conscience. You don't have a conscience. Ponder on that for a minute. Let's see if we get this fire going here. Come on, fire. Go. Take off. Oh, we got all the wood in there. All right, I'm going to definitely take a pause here and get some more wood. Some more wood. I got to go get a few more pieces of wood. Give me a minute. I don't remember, maybe one. So, ponder this for a minute. You can have the discussion in the chat of what you're seeing. You can explain to people this is Christianity, baby manger Jesus, birthed in the middle of the winter. This is your Jesus Christ who is born in the manger. And this is Christianity. This is Catholicism. This is Mormonism. This is Calvinism. This is baptism. This is all this same. He said, I am the Hados, which means I am the horizon. I'm the divider of the dark and the light. And this would be twisted right there at the equinox. Again, this comes up here where there's only a little bit of dark. Right here at 9:23. And then every day it gets darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. That's this yin-yang symbol. Whether you realize what they're putting in front of your face or not. I'll give you one more and then I got to go outside and grab some wood. But this symbol right here too, whether you understand what you're looking at or not, and he warns of idolism and imagery, but remember it was Peter who had denied Christ 3 times, and obviously Father was still rebuking his heart, and Peter asked to be crucified upside down. And that's your peace symbol. So you see this peace symbol, bullshit. Fuck off with your stupid bullshit. You don't even know this is the image of Peter who asked to be hung upside down. That's your peace symbol. So thanks for coming in with shalom. But those who say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come. So this is the image of the crucifixion of Peter. And they call this peace symbol, but people are idiots and they don't even have any idea because they're religious idiots is what they are. They've been fooled by man. And they've been warned of idolism and imagery, and they use this against them throughout all things. Well, Peter asked to be crucified upside down because he had denied Christ 3 times. Remember, Father obviously was still rebuking Peter's heart. Remember, I'm not asking you. Christ said, if you phileo me, Peter, do you agape me? Agape is walk and follow in the commandments. of the Father. Phileo is the things of this world, like you like Apple, you like iPhone, you like Chevy, you like Ford. He said, I'm not care about these worldly things, Peter. Do you agape? Are you doing what? Because Peter kept falling for he couldn't understand he was Father in the flesh and that he was not going by. He ate wheat on the Sabbath, and he was doing these things that wasn't going along with their halakha and agape. Peter was still very confused, just like us. We should use Peter as a lesson. We all are Peter. We've all denied Christ. We've all fell short of the Lord. So do me a favor, and I got to go get some wood for my wood stove. I'll be back here in just 1 second, and we'll go further on here in just 1 minute. Man, I even got that darn thing spinning yet. I ain't got the fan spinning, guys. It's going to get cold tonight, so we better get a little more wood. Let's grab a beanie. Let's grab a beanie. Let's grab a cover, a lid. Give me dig. All right. Come on around still. That bad boy ripping. Let's get that bad boy going. Oh, there's some snap, crackle, pop going now. We got the curtain in the door there, guys. Piece of wood. Oh yeah. All right, the witness fire is starting to go here. Trying to get this fan going here. I have an Ecomax air fan that runs off the wood stove. I'm an off-gridder. I live off the grid. I don't do this worldly stuff. Every time you're off the grid and you don't pay a power bill, you're not paying taxes on that power bill. Take a pause for the cause. Pause for the cause. Starting to take off. The juniper, I got a little, my wood got rained on. Need to put the front door and the back door was too heavy and it came unnailed. I should have lag bolted it. Oh well. It is what it is. A couple lag bolts would have held it. I'll figure it out. Hopefully the spring will get here soon. It is April Fool's. It's not what goes in a man that defiles a man or a woman. It's what comes out of them. Correct? Yep. Yep. Are you sharing the light? Are you sharing the gospel? Are you sharing the word? You're supposed to be charitable, and that charity is not talking about money. It's talking about the gospel. Are you being charitable with the word? Are you sharing it with others? Are you being stingy with it? Are you not even sharing? Do you have the word? You've been given the gift? The best? The true gospel, not some other gospel, some other Jesus, some transgender birthed in the middle of the winter Jesus. That's Satan Polyon, the sun god, the one that 9/11 Trump, Blind 11 has his house decorated with the sun god. Satan, the sun god. So we're breaking the algorithm here. We're going to try to break the algorithm tonight. See if we can go a little old school on the channel. At one time, we could put 500 people in this room, but we are shadow banned, so life ain't Burger King. You can't always have it your way. There's two kings, two witnesses. He said he'd send two. What are the two witnesses he said he would send? Anybody have an idea? What are the two witnesses? You got one on the left and you got one on the right. He said to be single. Everybody always claim, ooh, these are the two witnesses. You don't know who the two witnesses are. You are blaspheming. Oh, man. Some Jack Herrera boys. Oh. are we doing? Who's in here? We got 18 people in the chat. Right on. We're just covering the April Fools. April Fools.